Aloha and welcome to Health and Healing with Soul Wisdom. My name is Paul Fletcher and I'm a master healer and teacher. I've trained for the last several years under Dr. and Master dr.sha and the Institute for Soul Healing and Enlightenment. Now, as a master teacher and healer, I've had the amazing opportunity to witness what most people would refer to as miraculous healings, and I've had the opportunity to offer healings that I've witnessed miracles with. I've also had the wonderful opportunity to teach people how to bring healing to themselves and those that they love. Tonight, I'm going to expand on a teaching that I gave on my last episode. And I would encourage you, if you haven't seen it, to go to olelo.org and click on the inspiration section, and then where it says search, they have a search engine inside the website. Just type in Soul Wisdom or Health and Healing with Soul Wisdom. Even type in the word soul, because I think I'm the only one in there that has anything listed under soul. And you will immediately find my last 7 or 8 episodes, and you can view them at your leisure at home. Now, this particular episode I'm very excited about, because one of the things that I heard from people that have been watching my shows, they've said, I love that you're teaching us how we can heal ourselves. I love that you're teaching us how we can offer healing to others. But we'd really like to understand, how does it work? How does this soul healing work? I know that it works. I've seen the results. But what is really happening? Why does soul healing work? So the first thing that we're going to start out with is some teachings from the previous episode. And those teachings refer to how they're soul over mind over matter. I'm going to ask our engineer to flash on the screen for you some of the previous teachings. Now, the physical life and the spiritual life are very closely related. What does that mean? That means that your physical life is not the leader. Your soul is the leader. You were soul first before you came into this physical world. And your soul has some agreements. It has some intentions to fulfill in this life. And as we go through this life, if you make choices from the mind level, from the level that is not in alignment with your soul's journey and your soul's path, your soul will put blockages. In other words, if your heart says, go do this, and your mind says, no, that doesn't sound right, let's go over here, it'll become very, very difficult to get what you want. That's because your soul is getting in the way, and it's saying, that's not my journey. That's not what's going to bring us the greatest level of benefit. So soul healing and soul teaching is very powerful. The soul is first. So here's the wisdom teaching for you. Heal the soul first, and then the mind and body will follow. Now, also part of what we taught last week was how when you heal the soul first, the mind and body will follow. Let's expand on that just a little bit. What does that mean? Everything has a soul. I talked about that last week. I won't go into detail at this time. But that means your liver has a soul, your brain has a soul, your heart has a soul, your knee has a soul. Everything has a spark of the divine in it. Atoms have souls. Atoms have sparks of the divine. Everything came from source. And they collectively made your knee. They collectively made your brain. They collectively made the body parts and the conditions and that which is happening in your life, which is not pleasant or which is pleasant. So when you heal the soul first, you're addressing things at the level of creation. You're addressing them at the level at which they actually came into fruition. Now, the most important part about what I'm going to be sharing with you today is how we're going to teach you how to communicate with the soul. Now, I'd like you to give me a call if you have any questions on this. My number's on the screen there, 988-8090. And that's actually the Love, Peace, Harmony Center, Honolulu. We have a local area that helps people support their wisdom teachings. But my number's listed at the end as well. So give me a call if you have any questions. But the key is soul over mind over matter. Now, one of the foundational teachings is that when you heal the soul first, the mind and body will follow. What does that mean? That means the soul carries a message. If you have a sore back, the message on your back is, I'm in pain, I'm suffering, my poor back, oh, poor me. The message is not a loving message. We taught in the previous episode about how you can hold your body in a correct posture, put your hands in a correct position to change the energy blockages in your body. How sound brings a vibration to the energy blockages in your body. How light changes the energy blockages in your body, and how by communicating to the message of the soul of the knee, the back, whatever the problem area was, how you're changing the vibrational energy blockages in the body. Notice there's a theme. We're dealing with the energy blockages in the body. The body is made up of energy and matter. What is energy and matter? It's all sparks of God. It's all coming from the same source. So we're dealing with it at the level of energy and matter. In other words, we're dealing with it at the level of the message of the soul. So now I'm going to flip to no screen, and I want you to see what this theory is called. It's called matter energy message theory. The cell is the smallest functioning unit in the body. This is important to understand, because in the body, we're not just made up of cells. We're made up of what's inside the cells. That includes RNA, DNA, smallest matter, all kinds of small particles, which I don't even know the names of inside the cells. But you know what? They all are here to serve you. They operate millions of transactions within a minute. And those millions of transactions cause that cell to do exactly what it's supposed to do. And one of the things that cell does is it communicates with the other cells next to it. Well, we are impacted by things outside of us. Those things outside of us cause our cells to vibrate. Those things inside of us cause our cells to vibrate. Cells are always constantly expanding and contracting when they breathe, so to speak. So when they expand, the energy that was inside the cell moves to the space outside the cells. When they contract, the space outside the cells, the energy that's outside the cells, converts back to the energy inside the cells. When this is happening in perfect homeostasis, in other words, when these factors are working in perfect proportion, then you have perfect health. But as you can see in the next slide, there are external factors that cause the cellular malfunction. That includes factors such as viruses, bacteria, pollution, trauma, emotions, things that are outside of the body as well, like hearing about World Trade Center, like hearing about grandma dying. These are factors that impact us emotionally. And if we have anger, trauma, sorrow, sadness, depression, those are just as impactful to our cellular vibrational structure that's happening in our body. Now I want you to visualize inside you've probably seen slides on some of the scientific shows where you have cells floating around side by side, and they're kind of bouncing off each other, and you see the particles streaming in between the cells. Well, that's very much what's happening inside your body. When the energy is appropriately conversing back and forth, energy to matter, back and forth, in perfect balance, then you have perfect health. But when there's excess energy, which produces about 85% of all health issues in the human body, what's happening is the energy inside the cell is converting to the space outside the cell, and it's starting to create a blockage. Very much like if you had a river flowing evenly and smoothly, and then a bunch of beavers come along and build up a dam, it impedes the flow of the water. So in our human body, we are impeding the flow of the life force energy as it comes through us by virtue of traumas, emotions, virus, bacteria, etc., etc. Makes sense when you think about it, right? Now the other part about this is that when you look at what's happening, cells can react in these two ways, but it increases density or a lack of, and 10 to 15% of illness is caused by insufficient energy, whereas the other aspects of energy blockage is 85%. That's excess energy. Excess energy is, let me find the right slide here. Looks like I've missed one. So I'll just kind of verbalize it to you. Excess energy comes in the form of migraines, pain, inflammation. What about cancer? Okay? This is excess energy coagulating in that area. Now, part of the background of our teachings would say that that's karmic related. That's not where I'm going to go with these teachings today. I've covered that in other specials that I've talked to you about. So you can give me a ring on that if you have any questions on that. So karma is the precursor. Forgiveness exercise is going to benefit you. Doing the practices that I'm going to teach you today will dissipate the excess energy, and it will take it to an area that we want it to go to, which I'll do a little more practice on that today as well. But the key is understanding that when we're working with soul, mind, body medicine, we're working with blockages on a soul level. So soul, mind, body medicine recognizes that the solution is to cause a rebalance to these areas. Insufficient energy, on the other hand, comes in the form of Parkinson's, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. These are good examples of insufficient energy. And so we want to put more energy in those areas. For example, a lot of those are related to the brain. We want to bring more energy into our brain area for Parkinson's, chronic diseases, things of that nature. So the foundational teachings here are called matter, energy, message theory. The next part of this is called field theory. And this is what's happening outside the cells. The energy inside the cells is converting to energy outside the cells. And when that outside of the cell energy is smooth and balanced, we don't have any issues. The next theory, which is relevant, is called space theory. Space theory says there's two kinds of spaces. There's a small space in between each cell, and there's a large space for the organs. Now, the distance between your heart and your liver is a substantial gap. But that gap can be impacted negatively if it's not filled appropriately by the energy in between. Also, in the Chinese teachings, the different organs have a different emotion associated with it. The heart has the emotion of love associated with it, but it also has the emotion of anxiety. When we look at the spleen has the emotion of sorrow associated with it. Okay? The lungs have the emotion of sadness associated with it. The liver, anger. And so when we have too much emotion of anger, it imbalances the love in the heart. It causes the other organs to go off. So those are what I mean by the large spaces and imbalances energetically in those spaces. We do a lot of practices with the soul, mind, body medicine techniques to rebalance your organs, to bring balance into the larger spaces as well. Next slide I want to show you says that all cells constantly vibrate, expanding and contracting. And when a cell contracts, matter inside the cell transforms. We covered that, so I'll go to the next slide. For good health, transformation between energy and matter must be in relative balance. Now this is where we come back full circle to the teachings I gave in the last class. And it was on how there are 4 powers. And one of the powers is soul power, and it is the most important power. Soul is carrier of message. Every organ in your body has a soul. Every system, your cardiovascular system, your circulatory system, your musculoskeletal system, your endocrine system, every system has a soul. And these souls can carry karmic implications with them from previous times, either in this life or in past lives, when we've made choices that are not in alignment with love. Those impact systems, organs, and cells. It impacts them energetically. We want to cause an energetic rebalancing, and we're going to incorporate the 4 powers in doing that. So I'm going to remind you of some of those 4 powers. The first one is called body power.